What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sisko and Mike podcast. If we look a little tan and burnt today, that's because we were on vacation. I was in Mexico and Mike was in Vegas. So.
Hey, it's not because we were on vacation, bro. It's because it's hot in here and shit. And we're sweating, okay?
That too. We're trying to simulate summer coming up, so we're trying to get in condition. So speaking of trips, though, we have someone from Portland here today. She's a digital creator. She's part of the STEM engineering crew that's on social media making its rounds with our friend Elio.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Nice.
She works at Nike. And she has a podcast as well. We got Sonia Camacho in the house today.
Welcome,
Hi,
Sonia.
everyone.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No,
Super excited.
Thanks for coming. I know, when was it? A couple months ago you were here, right? And we talked about doing it, and it just didn't work out. And
I was only here for a weekend that time.
And this time it almost didn't work out.
I know.
But you extended your time here, so thanks for coming.
Come be a guest with you guys.
Well, we appreciate that because honestly, it means a lot to us.
Yeah. It's always cool to come do like an in-person event, you know, because my podcast, it's like you just call in kind of thing. You know?
Okay.
So this is like a different experience.
Cool.
This feels legit.
Try to get some tips on that because that's different. Call in.
Yeah.
We want to do something like that, but we're not there yet. It's a whole different beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to do something live too, but we barely got this down. So yeah.
I could see that in your future, though.
Don't mess with the formula yet.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're from Portland, born and raised, right?
Yes. Well, I'm from Salem, and then this past July, I moved up to Beaverton because that's where Nike World headquarters is. So I graduated with my master's in June from Oregon State University, and then I started my full-time position in September. I'm a rotational engineer, so I do like 3 6-month internships before I figure out like exactly what it is that I want to do. And I'm exploring like non-technical avenues because I did coding for 7 years. So I'm a little over it now. So I'm like maybe being a manager or like, you know, UI UX. So right now I'm designing websites.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a whole new world. I don't know about the whole computer science engineering aspect of things. Is that what you
No, I was going to say, well, I remember when the internet first came on, coding, that shit was complicated.
Zeros and ones?
Yeah.
No, it was just like if you knew it, you were the shit.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of things have changed, right? Like everything's been automated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like doing videos right now. Everybody does the TikToks.
Yeah.
There's ways to do video editing.
Yeah.
And so I wonder how that changed because
yeah, I mean, even now, like some of the websites that I've been designing, like there's like templates for it. You know, you don't have to actually like hard code it yourself anymore.
Okay.
So it's pretty nice.
It's like, what is it, Foursquare or Square? The website builder?
Squarespace.
Yeah,
Squarespace.
Well, that's one of them, but yeah.
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy was one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and,
just
like,
crazy.
Wix.
So that's what you do for Nike?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's all for like our internal websites though, so I can't like ever really talk about what it is I do.
Yeah.
You have NDAs?
I don't think I've ever signed one.
Okay.
I don't know.
So technically you can talk about it. They just tell you can't.
Maybe. Sorry, I'm getting hot.
Sorry, guys. I'm replacing the AC, so apologize. Apologize to Sonia. I got a quick question now. So now that, you know, everything, you're talking about something and I was trying to save it for later, but now that you brought it up, you know, everything's automated. How is like Chat GPT gonna change all that for you?
Well, okay, I always want to call it BT, but it's Chat GPT. It won't affect like my engineering work per se, but as a content creator, I can say that it's like the best tool ever because like when I go to present at schools or like if I need a script of something, I can just say like script to, you know, talk about like the other day I was promoting someone's like master class, right? So I was like script to promote someone's class and it like gave me a quick little script and I just kind of read off of it or like it kind of gives you that creative edge, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how it'll be affecting like my work, I guess.
Oh, she's cheating, Doug.
Yeah.
She's cheating.
I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about,
you know,
by the way.
actually,
It's
no.
like an AI, like it produces, like you can
Like
be
a
like,
Siri?
right? Yeah, kind of, but like people are getting in trouble now because
Steroids.
they're having it like write their essays because you can be like, write me an essay on like AI ethics and it'll write you a whole essay.
So it pulls information from the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's open source,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
It can code. Put it that way.
Where was this in high school?
No, I know, right?
We had Ask Jeeves.
Jeez, yeah. Like,
She's like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
It was like before Google, I guess.
yeah,
you
but
can
what
say.
was that? You know what other thing was cool that I wish we would have had back in high school? That dragon shit or those like speech to text.
What?
There's a thing called Dragonfly. I can't remember the name of it, but there's speech to text
Yeah.
software.
Oh, gotcha.
So
okay.
you don't have to write that shit
Yeah.
yourself. You
I
just
used to
literally-
do that in college, like writing my essays. I would just like be talking and then I would go in and edit it. It would save me so much time.
Damn.
That's pretty creative.
See,
Yeah.
kids nowadays,
You know-
or young adults nowadays also are very pampered.
You know, I
Yeah.
thought about it. I've seen like all these AI tools for like content creating for podcasts too.
Yeah.
Like it'll do a thumbnail for you, like the
Oh, wow.
titles, things like that. But I don't know. I just feel like
I feel like before you know it, you're gonna have that. It's gonna create the actual content that we talk about. We're just gonna be going like this, and the shit's just gonna be popping up, you know, as it goes and shit. So I don't even know. I think that's funny, bro. But cool.
But yeah, so growing up in Portland, and obviously you're in Cali now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big difference between being over there and being over here?
Yeah. I think like the people and everything. It was funny. I posted a story the other day. I was like, oh, man, being on my runs, I'm always like, good morning to random people, and no one here says hi. And
No.
everyone was like, well, you're in LA. What do you expect? Because in Oregon, everyone's like, hey, how you doing? And like all that. I guess like the whole culture down here is just so different. But then when I come down here, I feel like at home kind of thing. Like being with my family, and then just like when I'm out in like East LA and stuff. Because I come back to Oregon, it's so granola. Like.
You consider yourself a Chicana, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
Chicana. So I'm
Cool,
second
cool.
generation Sinaloa on my dad's side, and then I'm fourth gen Zacatecas on my mom's side.
Okay.
So I never know really what to call myself, but I feel like I had a more like fourth gen experience growing up, but technically have family still in Sinaloa and all that.
So
Okay.
have you ever had an identity crisis with that?
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, a lot of it, because growing up in the area that I did, it's predominantly white. I literally had like no other Mexican friends growing up. And so when I got to college, and that was my norm, right? Then I got to college, and I was a part of this program called LSAMP, which is like underrepresented minorities in STEM. You get to go to college like a week early, and kind of like you get to tour the different STEM buildings and all that. And that's where I made like all of my friends, and they're all people of color. And so one day I was like sitting, in college, and I was like, whoa, like I kind of don't know a single white person right now. That's such a change,
Yeah.
And so then I've kind of like always, in college, I was like, well, I've always been told like I'm too white for the Mexicans, but too Mexican for the white people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just kind of like trying to find like my community and my group, which I think I'm doing better of now, because now that I moved to Portland, like I've met up with a lot of people from TikTok and just like other Chicanas in the area, and just kind of like immersing myself in my own culture and like figuring out who I am and everything, right? But definitely growing up, it was like a big struggle of like how to act, who I am kind of thing. But I always knew that I was like 100% Mexican. But growing up, I would always tell people I'm half, because I didn't know like Mexican American was like, that's what you call yourself. So I would say I'm half, and they'd be like, well, which side is the white side? And I'd be like, I don't have a white side. So that's always a story I like to tell, because I'm like, I literally didn't know what to call myself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because I've never had that with like friends, because obviously growing up in LA, it's like a melting pot of different cultures, especially Mexican and Latinos, but more with family. That's where I felt like the individuality, where I was confused.
But you don't consider yourself a Chicano, do you?
I consider myself Mexican.
Mexican?
Chicano, like Latino. Honestly,
Well,
to
okay,
me,
he's starting to throw
no,
everything in there. so.
but like
The
no,
reason
like,
I'm asking is because it's like you said, like myself, I always consider myself Chicano, and the whole term Mexican American, right?
Yeah.
And you said something that was kind of that funny, because it's like the American side, you don't have to be white.
Right.
It was more like the culture of like living here in America.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I think like I'm Mexican American, and obviously I consider myself Chicano.
Yeah.
Because I love the Mexican culture, which is what my parents showed me. But then I love, like you said, the LA Mexican culture, which is kind of different.
And that's where I think remember I've talked about it, I feel like Chicano is more of a culture
Right.
than like ethnicity or
Of
race
course.
or anything like that. So it's more culture based. So that's why I do consider. I have old cars, I love oldies. My dad grew up on oldies. He got me into oldies. So I love all that. So yeah, I love that. I can say I'm Chicano, but I'm also Mexican. So
But
it's
you never worn Dickies.
got a point there.
You've never worn. You don't know what a nice Cortez is.
No Cortezes either. But does that make you Chicano?
But it's part of the culture, like you
Right.
said.
Or is
It's
it
the culture.
Nah, because there's also this like difference between Chicano and Cholo.
Well, okay, no. If you want to go
Style,
there, that's
culture.
different. Yeah.
Technically-
you're subdividing everything.
Technically, Dickies were like work pants, fool. So hey,
That's true.
you can't really say that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of white people that wear those work pants. That's why
Have you worn Dickies?
No.
Have you worn Cortez?
Yeah.
Okay, see?
Hey, does Nike still make Cortezes and
Yeah.
like hook you
Yeah,
guys
they
up?
do.
Yeah.
They're expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they sell out all the time. I try to order some online and it's like fucking always sold out.
Fool,
Yeah.
you better not wear those shits over here, though.
I'm gonna wear them on purpose now.
They look like that dog. Have you seen that meme? That one dog that looks like a Nike Cortez?
No, I was.
Well,
I gotta check
anytime I
that
see
shit
them,
out.
I'm like, wow, it actually does kind of look like that dog. I'll send you guys a picture.
Okay.
You guys will get it.
Tell us your honest feelings about Cortezes.
I mean, I'm like, do I like them because of the like Cholo Chicano style, or do I just like actually like them? I don't know.
She doesn't like them. She just does a Chicano style. All right, cool.
I think so.
Don't get me wrong. They don't have the best appeal, but it's just reminiscent of the
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it is.
Plus, you're bald. Like,
I'm bald not by choice, bro.
Yeah, but don't
I'm losing
worry,
my
dude.
hair, so I gotta go bald. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go. By the way, if you notice this, yes, I don't have a mustache or a beard like this fool.
I just trimmed it.
I'm trying to grow one, guys. So hey, bear with me. I made a deal with my daughter.
One day.
I gave her to the end of the month. If it doesn't grow
And
bigger than this,
A month is not enough.
well, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
I'm
would
gonna
say 3, right?
3.
I don't know.
Damn.
I mean, for someone like you, yeah, at least 3. Go for
Well, I'm
3.
gonna get this thing that has like little picos, and then like I guess it promotes growth. So I'm gonna try it, and then it has like you gotta put some like.
Fool, we're in the-
Post your weekly updates on that.
there you go. Start vlogging.
What?
Day 5, I see a new hair.
I see a new patch came out. Anyways,
ChatGPT, how to grow facial hair.
Yeah.
now you're making fun of me again.
No, but anyways, I want to go back to Portland because my experience, I was there once and
Yeah.
it wasn't the best experience. I'm sorry, but you're right. Portland is a little more, of a melting pot. There's a little bit more Mexican I saw, but the one time I was there, was it the Proud Boys?
Oh, you were there visiting during all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like riots and people were telling me, don't be walking in the street. Make sure later on you're like in your hotel room safe.
Why? Because you're Mexican?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I wasn't really like, I was in college still when all that was happening. But yeah, that was, Oregon has, a history and all that. So sometimes it's like, do I really want to live here? I don't know. It has that but I would say that since that's happened, like you can go to downtown and you're fine. And like, I live in the suburbs, so there's nothing really.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out there. No, lie. It was just that little experience. It was only like 2 days. So 2 days where they were telling me, make sure you're not walking the streets.
Well, I've heard because I like soccer. I don't know if you like soccer.
Yeah, yeah.
So you do? Are you a Portland Timbers fan?
I'll go to their games. So I grew up watching the
I
Galaxy.
heard that. That's Galaxy? Okay, there you go. That's my girl right there. I'm a Galaxy fan.
Yeah.
I'm a season ticket holder. As a
Oh,
matter of fact,
nice.
we're going to be there on Sunday for the
fun.
LAFC match.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
the biggest match.
Oh my God, yeah, because they're rivals, yeah.
Yeah, they're rivals now. Yeah.
we might do something cool. We might take the whole setup and record there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. That would
Yeah.
be really cool.
Well, I heard that the best place to travel from Galaxy fans to a game is to Portland.
Yeah.
They
They
said
just
you're
played
gonna
a few
have-
weeks
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
We lost, I think. No, we tied.
No, wait. I think we lost. I
We
think.
have not won a game.
Oh, we're both losers.
Yeah. Yeah, we have not won a game. We just lost 3-0 to Houston Dynamo.
Oh, yeah.
Embarrassing. Anyways. But,
No, sorry, I was gonna say no. You're going off in the tangent in soccer, but
well, I asked about Portland. Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
He just
it's a. No, I mean, they told me.
And we
if
have
you,
the Thorns. Can't discredit the girls' soccer. They
No,
they
that's
like
right.
won the whole what is it, championships or tournament
they?
last year? Yeah.
But you guys are crazy. Your fans are crazy.
Yeah.
They cut trees.
The
When they
yeah.
score a goal, they cut trees.
Yeah.
They got the guy with the fucking
wait, what do you mean?
chainsaw.
What do you mean they could
They
trees?
Like
But,
in the super fan section, there's like a whole log, and there's a guy with a giant
Every time they score.
chainsaw.
Okay, so there's
and then they
logs.
do it. Yeah.
But it's a big ass log.
It's
Okay, because
huge,
it's still saying
yeah.
trees. I'm
well,
like, wait,
it's a tree
wait.
log.
It's a
fool.
tree
It's a
trunk,
part of a
yeah.
tree.
But it's a log. But like
But it's a little log.
It's a
I
big
know,
one,
but it's a
yeah.
big log. But it's on like there. it's not a tree that's planted.
No,
on
they're
it.
not gonna,
They're just
I'm
standing
saying, they
there.
fucking, but it's crazy because that's what they do for like scoring a goal. and
Yeah,
shit.
that's pretty
So-
dope.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's,
Really?
that's,
Goal!
Yeah.
Come on.
dog, that's pretty dope. I'd be hyped if I was no lie.
Especially when you're drinking, it's like, oh my God. It's
The
the
log,
craziest
the
thing.
log.
Let me get that shit.
No, but
Exactly.
So how you like Cali right now?
I love it. I think I'll definitely maybe invest in property down here with my sister
Nice.
because we grew up going to the Bay Area and coming here a lot. It's just so expensive down here. That's the
It
only
is.
thing. That's like I feel like the only thing that really keeps me from moving down here too is like really finding like affordable housing. Like my friends I'm staying with, they pay like there's a house of 4 and they individually pay like almost as much as I pay back home.
Damn.
And I'm like, what? I have 1,000 square feet at home and they have like a room, you know? So I'm like, okay, you know, there's pros and cons and all that.
What do you like better, northern or southern?
I really like it here, but I love the Bay Area because my family's there.
Okay.
You know, like my extended family and all that. I only have an aunt and uncle down here.
And the weather.
Huh.
It's a little cooler over there.
Yeah.
So your mom and dad live in the Bay Area, or?
No, well, they actually met at UCSB, and then my dad's from East LA, and then
Okay.
my mom's from Santa Clara, and then they moved around all over the United States when they were going to school and everything. And then my dad was a professor at OSU for a little bit, and that's where I went to school. And then they both live up there, but now my dad lives in Mazatlan a little bit of the year. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you had that pressure early on to go to Oregon State?
No, not like that. We had pressure. So my parents both went to like Ivy Leagues and stuff, and so it was kind of pressure to like, well, maybe you could get into there. I didn't even bother applying to like Stanford or Harvard. I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna get in. But higher education was always kind of like not expected. Like they didn't push that on us. You know, like we could have not gone to school, but it was definitely like relevant, if that makes sense. You know, it's like, well, we went to school. Like, you know, a generation thing is like you want to make it so the next generation has it even better. Because both my parents grew up super, super poor. And then they both went to law school and everything. So,
Oh, that's dope.
yeah. So it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like, well, if I don't become more successful than them, then I'm doing them a disservice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of like the internal motivation that I had growing up. So.
That's interesting, using it as motivation.
Well,
I used to feel like I was letting them down. Like it wasn't motivation for me.
what, going to school?
Yeah, like
Why?
like I had pressure. I felt pressure instead of motivation. I always felt that pressure that I needed to do something good.
Is it
or
because
great.
you're the oldest?
No, but I just feel
like
like
a guilt.
guilt. Yeah, more of
Yeah.
a guilt. Like seeing their sacrifice, and then kind of like them trying to push me. School was important. Like
Yeah.
things like that, and not.
I did it because one, I knew you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
That's common sense. So go to school, guys. Two, I did want to make my mom proud.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest, and you know that. So I'm the oldest,
Yeah,
and I
that's for
wanted
sure.
to get at least my bachelor's, but I ended up getting my MBA. So,
Awesome.
yeah, and now with my daughters, who are teenagers now, and it's a handful having daughters,
Yeah.
I tell them, I went to school. I want you to at least get a bachelor's.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put pressure, but I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I want them to do better than me. It's kind of
Exactly,
like you said.
yeah.
You feel like if you don't do better than your parents, then you're doing them a disservice. It's kind of like you're going backwards instead of forwards.
Exactly.
So I tell them, I don't care what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
Go get a bachelor's, because at least I know that you have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
If you need to. And then
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want. If you want to F up your life, which I don't think they're going to do.
Yeah.
But whatever choice you make in life, you're going to be an adult, and you're going to have those consequences
Yeah.
and those decisions to live with.
I got a question right now.
What's up?
It's a stupid question.
You never ask stupid questions.
I know. And no offense to anybody out there, but how would you feel like they got like a bachelor's in photography?
If that's something that, first of all, I wouldn't mind it, because you can make money in photography.
Yeah.
I mean, I do photography, and I was self-taught. I didn't get a degree in photography.
Yeah.
I want to get a degree in photography just so I could
But
learn
after,
more.
yeah.
But if they got a degree in photography, I would love it, because I like photography.
Yeah.
And it's something that they can make money off. It's something creative. It's not just shooting pictures. A lot of people think it's just fucking take a picture and that's
No,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can do with photography. So I wouldn't mind it. Now, I'm not going to talk shit, because, whatever degree you want to get it on, you get it. But like Chicano studies, I love Chicano. I'm a Chicano. Pero sometimes I feel like, how far is that going to get you?
There's limited opportunities.
Limited
Yeah.
opportunities. Yeah.
Teaching it is pretty much one of those.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna go to school, guys, and I'm saying this because I have friends and family members that have gone to school. They did 4 years, 6 years, and they ain't doing shit with their life. They're working at Best Buy
Yeah.
or IKEA, whatever.
Or working something completely different.
Or something different, but
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with the degree that they got.
Right.
It's like, don't waste your money, because at the end of the day, that shit costs money.
Yeah.
So don't waste your money just to say you got a degree.
Yeah.
Use it to whatever the heck you're gonna do in life. So, not to knock on Chicano studies, because trust me, love you guys for continuing to learn that, but
Yeah.
use something productive.
I feel like people don't talk about it enough either. It's like once you're studying, if you get that inkling of like, I don't think this is what I want to do, then switch it. Even if it's like your parents are pushing you to go into, medical school or whatever, like whatever route you're going on, if you truly don't feel it in your heart, then don't stick with it because it's your life at the end of the day. So like, why do you want to go into something where you're going to be miserable, right? So it's like, yeah, get something useful or like that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna hate your life if you're not passionate about your work.
Speaking of passionate, you got an engineering degree, right?
Yeah, I got. Yeah.
How did you get started? Like, is that something that you've always wanted to do?
So I was in high school and I don't know how old your daughters are, but like when you go to like fill out your electives, so like once you're a junior or maybe a sophomore, you get to start choosing your classes, and all my friends wanted to do art, like pottery 101 or something. And being in high school, you just want to do what your friends are doing. You cannot be the only one in a class, right? But my mom sat me down. And I have an older sister. She's 3 years older than me. She's also a mechanical engineer. And honestly, like, love her to death. She's been my biggest role model, other than my mom. And so my mom sat me down and was like, your sister did, like, intro to engineering. I think you would really like it. Like, you want to do art. Well, you can do, like, creative work on the computer, like AutoCAD, right? And so I was so reluctant to do it. I was like, I'm going to be a nerd. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the only girl. But I don't even know how she got me to say yes, but I did. And so I did all the engineering classes that my high school offered. And so I did robotics, AutoCAD, computer science. And so then when it came time to like choose a degree, and that kind of became like who I was known for in school too, which I kind of started to like because I was like, okay, cool. I can be a nerd and do the robotics competitions on the weekends, but I was also a cheerleader and tennis team captain and all that.
Oh, shit.
So I was like really breaking stereotypes and all that. And I loved that. And I remember like at senior awards, I got like, most high maintenance and computer whiz and most likely to have a reality show actually. And it's funny because now I do all these like media features and I'm like, yeah, kind of doing it now. But so then when it came time to choose what to do in school for college, I wanted to do mechanical engineering, but because my sister was already doing it, it's kind of competitive, right? I was like, well, I can't do what she's doing. So I decided to just stick with computer science. I had done it for 2 years and I kind of never looked back. And then a master's degree was not in the plan at all. Like I was ready to get my degree and get out of there. But then COVID happened. And so I wasn't going to have opportunity to do an internship. And I was like, I've never worked a day other than like retail. So I stayed 1 extra year. I did an accelerated program and I was able to have like that summer to do an internship.
What was that like, accelerated?
It was really fun to tell people, oh, I'm going to go to grad school. And then I was like, shit, now I have to go to grad school. And they just hold you to such a higher standard. And I remember I was like, oh, like, I don't know what this is in the reading. And the instructor was like, well, as a master's student, look it up. And I was like, oh, okay, sorry. So that was difficult, definitely like a higher pace. But I loved it. Being able to be in a class with like only 10 other kids was super nice, other than like compared to my undergrad where it was like 150, 200 people. And I was like, yeah, and I'm like the only girl who's a Latina in there. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm totally lost, So it was nice to have that like one-on-one help. But the accelerated program, I think it's a really good option to anybody out there. If your school offers it, I highly recommend that you do it.
You just said something right now, being the only Latina. Mm-hmm. And then in that class, what was that like? Even in high school, you said you were known for that. Yeah. Obviously, there were some positive things. Did you ever get any negative like comments from people?
See, that's the weird thing is like I've never had like direct microaggressions per se, but I guess I've never had direct aggressions, if that makes sense. But like being in a group project, I've definitely felt like, okay, these guys aren't like making eye contact with me or they're not letting me speak. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm a girl, maybe because I'm a brown girl. Like, so it was a lot of like wondering at times, right? But it was never like someone was like, oh, you're Mexican. Like, I don't want to hear what you have to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've always kind of used negative things as motivation rather than like having it tear me down. So like being in a class like that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to office hours. I'm going to get the highest grade, or I'm going to like be the example paper that they show, you know? So it was like motivation to be like, I can show all these guys, you know, that I can do it too.
So it's like competitive then.
Yeah.
The competitive edge. You were like, I got this. I got this. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because even now, you know, like I work with other mechanical engineers and things like that, and seeing a female like mechanical engineer is rare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there, but people have this misconception that it's a man's job or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like mechanical engineering or nautical engineering is, there's certain engineering that just, it's just a man-driven thing, but, but no.
So you're good at math then?
I guess.
You have to be, because I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. For reasons.
You're about to ask a math problem or?
No, because I know that AutoCAD, when you're doing AutoCAD and when you're doing a lot of the mechanical engineering, just like you do, it's all
fractions.
You have to know. It's all factual. It's not like when you write a paper for English.
Yeah.
It's all, you could bullshit a paper for English. I mean, I used to bullshit them all the time.
Right.
I would push it out of my ass, and then I'd get fucking A's and B's, and they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But with math, or with, I'm sure with mechanical engineering, you have to have exact, like, shit. Like
you haven't used AutoCAD in a while, huh?
I have not used AutoCAD since.
It's changed a lot.
Well, I know, because, I don't know, I was going to ask you that. I go, your experience with AutoCAD, you probably didn't have to do the whole, entering the whole commands thing, right? Or did you have to do that?
I don't even know.
And then, because I know it changed when I got out of high school, like a couple years later.
You can still put the commands, but it's just obviously
but it's all easy automated. It's kind of like Photoshop. Like, okay, cool.
But that's what drew me into like STEM, is that there's a right and there's a wrong, you know? But also in computer science, there's so many ways to solve one problem, but there's always the most efficient way. And so that's where math really comes in for us, because I'm not doing like fractions and stuff. Like, I know what you're saying, because my sister all the time, like, she designs stuff for Sephora where, like, you know, the lipstick stands and stuff, and if you get that wrong by a centimeter, you know, you're screwed.
Exactly.
So there are some lines of engineering that use way more math, like down to a T, right? But then with computer science, it's more so like, how can you use it to be the most efficient? And like, obviously every company wants to be more productive because that's money, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but that's what drew me to STEM, is like.
So how does a company do that? Like, explain that, because obviously there's many aspects of computer science, right?
Yeah.
So what would, for example, you work for Nike.
Yeah.
What do you do for Nike that you can tell us that you can't, you know what I'm saying, that you won't get in trouble? So like, how would you maximize, using computer science, how would you maximize their, I don't know, I guess, efficiency?
Technical, Michael.
I'm curious.
He's making her thing. That's a good question, huh? I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I don't really know how to answer that. Like, I guess just because like you would just code the most efficient like solution to whatever problem you're given.
So give me a problem. Give me a problem that Nike has had that you resolved or maximized.
But I haven't really like done that. Like, I haven't done anything per se like that, because I do more like website design, and and that's just, it would be more of like a back end problem of like, okay, how can we like load the website super fast? But I don't work on that.
Gotcha.
That's all kind of done in the back scene.
Can you hook it up when there's drops? Can you hook me with the link ahead of time?
I wish, dude. I don't even know when any of that
I'm
stuff happens.
fucking up at 7 a.m. trying to get the next
I'm at 7 a.m. and shit on a Saturday morning trying to get the new shoes, and
you know, we don't even, I don't think we get discounts on like the sneakers app.
Oh,
or anything
you
like
don't?
that. No, because I
was just messing with you.
No, I know, but those drops are like, it's the whole world, right?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be fair to everyone. But I know some people like work on the shoes, and I think they might have.
So they don't hook you with shoes?
Huh?
They don't hook you with stuff like here?
Not like free stuff. It depends on your team too, you know.
Okay.
Like,
you guys have like an employee store.
yeah, we have an employee store. It's like 50% off and all that, but it's very like hit or miss, right? So sometimes there's like really cool shoes and all that, but yeah.
Here's a quick tip for everybody, Doug. If you have the sneakers app, have your login ready, always signed in. Because if you try to sign in, they're gone. That's how I get my J's. Like, I love J's, so I'm a J collector. So
that's the thing. It's like, have your credit card information
everything
saved.
on there. Yeah,
well, how do you do that shit if you got to type it in?
No, you already have it saved. Your profile's already saved. So at 7 a.m. when it hits, you And your information is saved. Because if you have to put in your credit card, you're done. You're out of line.
That's where I fuck up because I got to get my military discount. So I'm logging in. By the time I log in, I'm like, fuck, you saved 15%.
You're
like,
sorry, you're currently in line. So, obviously we're talking about STEM. You got driven into it. Now there's been like this whole social media team of Latinos, Hispanics that are really emphasizing and pushing STEM.
Yeah.
We've had Elio on. What made you guys and what made you specifically want to do that?
Yeah.
You're talking about talking to kids, and we've seen that you've gone to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So, like I said, in high school, I was voted most likely to have a reality show because before social media really blew up and everything, I was always on Snapchat like, hey guys, this is like what I'm having for lunch, or always like that. So I always knew I wanted to kind of be on camera and stuff like that. And so when social media started happening and around the time that COVID came along, I remember when I first started college, I always wanted to do a dorm tour and stuff like that, but then I was too nervous. And then once I started really getting into my classes, and actually the moment that got me into social media is when my sister graduated. So we both went to Oregon State University. She graduated 3 years before I did. And when she left, I was like, oh my God, my built-in best friend is now gone. Like if I have a question about anything, who do I go to,
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I bet there's a lot of people out there who don't have an older sister, and especially as Chicanas and everything in STEM, this is very hard to come by, right? So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just start posting on social media. I remember people being like, what are you doing? Me posing with my laptop and giving tips, and people were like, what are you doing? And now I've really built a business out of it. But yeah, when I started, there wasn't really that whole community that there is now. But I think just through the power of networking and social media and everything, I've just been able to find such really cool and genuine people. And it's really awesome to have that friend group too, because we always talk about, how much are you charging for this or that? And they're all older than me. And so it's having older siblings and mentors. And we just try and do that to other students as well, right? And so we're always trying to brainstorm ideas of how we can get underrepresented minorities into STEM. So it's really cool.
That's dope.
It's cool. It's like giving back pretty much.
Yeah. See, we were talking about that earlier, talking about our parents and everything. And the other day, my mom told me she was proud of me. And I was like, as a Chicana, that never, I got it and I started crying. My friends were like, what's wrong? And I was like, my mom just said she's proud of me. And they're like, okay, because they're white. And I was like, y'all don't understand. That never happens. I'm pretty sure when I got both my degrees, I don't even know if my parents said that. So I was like, it's a big deal. But she said that because I did a digital literacy program. I was speaking to some older people who just are trying to gain digital literacy. And so it's moments like that and I didn't charge for that. And it's moments like that where I'm like, that's so cool that I'm able to give back to the community, especially because I said I had this fourth gen experience. I never really had to struggle a lot, right? But being able to give back to those who maybe are struggling is the coolest thing ever. And it's all because of social media, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously we've talked about it before. Growing up, things seem limited for us, and you guys going out and promoting it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great thing for the younger generation, just showing the different sides of engineering and excuse me, other STEM, fields that are out there. It's great for us, like I said.
Well,
to be honest.
Well, that's what I think, we always talk about social media here, how the negative aspects of it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Before social media blew up, Snapchat, it was funny. It was wasn't that a couple of years ago?
Snapchat? It's been around for longer.
Yeah.
But we always talk about the negative aspects of social media and the fact that you're using it, you're using the platforms
Right.
for something positive.
Yeah.
That's where it matters and that's what counts.
Right.
Because we've had guests, and I'm sure you've probably gone through this, and we've gone through it where social media could be a rabbit hole. You could either go one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it can mess with you mentally. So
100%.
the fact that you're doing it, you're using it as a tool.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know because I haven't asked you, but if it has ever, been negative in your life.
Yeah.
But so far, from what you're telling us, it seems like everything's been so positive.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, there's you see models and stuff and you're like, oh, why don't I look like that? And back in the day, I would always post pictures of me at a frat party and stuff. And then I was just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, I think I was like 19 drinking, right? And it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing that all online and everything. And so then, like I said, when my sister left and it was like, I could be a big sister to someone else. A business was never a part of the idea. I didn't care about making money off of it at all. But now it's literally like my side income. Sometimes I'm able to pay like my whole rent with just social media money,
Nice.
which I'm like, that's really awesome, and it helps you save a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, it was, and also in college, it was a huge thing, like being able to get like clothing sent to me for free, and really helping like my parents out with like expenses and certain things like that.
Yeah.
You know, I always felt like I was doing good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it just you and your sister?
Yeah. Well, and yeah.
Okay. Only two of you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny right now because one of the things I wanted to ask you is, now we're talking about social media and things like that. Like on your thing, you have digital creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how there's digital creators, there's content creators, there's influencers.
Yeah.
So, you know, what is your definition of a digital creator? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, well, something funny about the whole group that you guys are talking about, Elio, Jay, and all of them. So we all call ourselves content creators because an influencer, we all kind of feel like it has taken on this negative connotation of like, you just get free product, you go on brand trips, you don't give back to the community, like, oh, you're just me, right? Mm-hmm. But we feel as though we're making content that is doing good for the greater good. You know what I mean? And we're trying to promote something bigger while accepting money on the side. That's cool too, right? But I just think that content creator or digital creator just has such a better sound to it, and like doesn't have that like stigma associated with it, you know? So, but yeah, that's like a hot topic. That's kind of like what we were talking about, like Chicano, Mexican, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like how you label yourself can be, to some people, very like, it means a lot. To other people, are like, yeah, I'm influencer, I'm this, that. But I just try and usually correct people. I'm like, oh, content creator. 'Cause my whole family will be like, she's an influencer. And I'm like, content creator. Like, no.
Yeah, and that sucks, dude, because influencer, I mean, when you think of somebody influencing, it could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing, you know?
Right.
It
Yeah.
could be a positive influence or a negative influence, but on social media, it's strictly negative. Like an influencer is just strictly negative.
It's because
Brand building.
there's about 80% of influencers. That's what they do. It's like sometimes I don't even think they believe in the brand that they're promoting.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, use this, and it's like,
Yeah.
whatever. So I agree with her. The whole content creating sounds more like you're creating something,
Right.
content.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got a feeling you're going to be an influencer. Once you get
Yeah.
that beard, someone's going to send a
Yeah.
product over. And
But okay.
Yeah.
But if it works, I'm not lying about it. Now, if I come tomorrow with patches and stuff, and I'm telling you, hey, use this shit because that'll be kind of me lying.
But you know, there's people out there that would do that. So
That's true. That's true.
anything for the
Mark
check,
it
you
up.
know?
Shit, whoever wants to pay me, I got you.
experiments,
No, not experiments. I'm too old for that shit now, dog.
human trials. There you go.
Nope. Have you ever thought about that?
What? Human?
Have
You know
you
human
ever
trial?
have you ever seen, like, we're searching for males or a person to do something? Have you ever, like, thought about doing it in your life?
No.
Have you?
What do you mean?
Like a
like a
clinical
study?
experiment or a study?
Like in college, I was a part of a few studies. Like there was like a makeup study, and then there was another study. I think it was just like about reading and stuff. But that stuff kind of interests me. Like when we get the mass emails, I'm like, well, that'd be kind of fun to be a little lab rat
that's
for
what
a
I'm saying.
day.
Yeah,
but,
right?
but I'm not literally like not at the
Like,
government
they didn't
level.
inject anything or...
No,
No, because
no.
there's different types of trials.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but those are extreme trials. like,
Well, some people
getting
will do anything
shot.
for money.
That's true.
Or just for the experience.
Yeah.
Just
But no, I've never done
Vlog
it.
it, you know.
No, I don't know about that.
There you go. I'm telling you,
Hey.
day one,
Hey, hit me up. If you guys want me to do something with my beard, hit me up, okay?
we are looking for brand sponsors.
That's
There
true.
you go.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, anyways.
He likes to make fun of me all the time.
No, it's just funny because when you tell me you wanted to grow out your beard and stuff. But yeah.
Oh. He's never seen me like this for a while. It's
Yeah,
been a
no.
while.
It's a little trip for me.
Yeah.
But so, we're talking about, doing social media and now you're being digital content
Yeah.
creator. And now you're a podcaster. Mm-hmm. Did you decide, because you're doing all these things, let me share this experience and let me talk about it? Or what was it that made you want to do a podcast?
So in October or November, I went to the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers National Conference. And I was invited as a content creator, me and 8 other, the Latinos that you guys have probably seen. And so we all went, and I was having lunch with these people from Univision, right? Everyone's introducing themselves and what they do. And like my friend Elio's like, oh, I'm an engineer. I also wrote a book. The next girl's like, oh, I'm Diana. I started my own conference for Latina engineers. And I'm like, I'm Sonia and I'm going to school, right? Or I just graduated with my master's, something like that. And I was like, damn, I really don't have that like extra something about me, because when I was in school, I was like, oh, I'm a student, and what makes me cool is like my content creation, right? And then now it's like, well, I'm working, I'm a content creator, but I felt like I just needed something more, right? And I love helping the community. I love just helping others. And so I was like, you know, I could have a podcast where I interview different Latinos, and they don't have to be just STEM. But I think that something we can all relate on is like, if we had these stories growing up of just like people who are successful, who look like us, or maybe have gone through like certain things like us, we would have a lot more motivation, or just like, oh, I can do it too, you know? And then because TikTok has ruined everyone's attention span, I was like, okay, I cannot do like a 2-hour long like podcast. I love being featured on them, but I'm like,
I was about to say, I was getting defensive.
But, like, myself recording them, I'm like, I tell like one story and I'm like, okay, my attention span's like gone now, you know? So I was like, I'm going to do short form, like 10-minute episodes that you can just like put on in the background while you're getting ready before going to work or walking to class, right? And so through that, I've been able to, you know, interview a lot of cool people and get to know other people who are doing podcasts and all that, and just really network from it. And so, yeah, and hopefully one day the goal, I would say like in 10 years, is like have that be my main job, you know, and then like all social media, and then like the podcast, like you guys were saying, like maybe go on tours for it and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of.
Would you leave what you went to school for in your job to do full time that?
It depends. I think I'll always be in like the STEM industry. Like one of my goals was like, okay, maybe have like a nonprofit. I'm already on the board of a nonprofit right now.
Nice.
And so like doing STEM outreach and stuff will always kind of be in what I do. But I think there'll come a time where maybe I decide to leave the technical field. But obviously right now I just graduated. I'm like, throw it all at me. Like I can handle it now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think we'll see.
That's interesting. You got me thinking about the 10-minute form. How does that work? That's pretty hard.
It's really hard because people will be like, I have a form now that people can fill out, and they'll type, you know, what they want to talk about. And I'm like, whoa, okay, you're going to introduce yourself. You're going to say your name. I mean, you're going to have like time for one story, if that. Like we can't get into your whole life story, you know?
Yeah.
But it helps to keep people engaged, because like a lot of the listeners will DM me and be like, this was perfect. Like I could not handle anything longer than that, you know? And sometimes they're like, oh, bring that person back. Like let's do a longer episode. So it's all about kind of like seeing what the audience actually wants. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes for us, like we just get lost in conversations.
Well, it just depends. This is, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
And we'll start talking about, you know, Chicanos. We start talking about STEM. Then we'll start talking about what we ate yesterday.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's crazy like that. But then what we've been told is that people feel like they're here chilling with us. And that's what we had always said.
Yeah.
We don't want to make it like we're just always interviewing somebody. We want to make it seem like we're all just shooting the shit and having a good time.
And those are the best. Like I like to put like that on the YouTube version, right? And I'll just like play it and like clean my room or like go about my day, right? But it's like I feels like I'm on FaceTime with someone in the background.
Exactly.
But when I designed my podcast, it was like when I used to walk to school, like from my apartment to OSU, I always kind of wished I had like, because I don't know, like I don't have a playlist or anything, but I'm like, I wish I had something to just like get me on my walk, you know? Gotcha. So that was like one of my main things. It's like, it'll be for someone who's just like walking into the office, you know?
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I was having a conversation about like podcasts now. I love podcasts, first of all, right? But then for a while, I kind of lost a passion for listening to certain things, because I felt like a lot of the podcasts that I like started pushing agendas. Or they started going towards a different way, you know what I mean? And I feel like they lost the authenticity of it.
Well, what do you mean by like pushing agendas? Like political?
No, just agendas, political, you know, brands, just in general, or their point of views. They were just pushing things instead of like just having conversations, like she said, where you're just kind of like feeling like you're just there listening to someone or on a FaceTime call.
Yeah.
It started becoming like a thing like...
Scripted, kind of like...
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of the podcasts I used to listen to, I don't even think they make it anymore, but it was like I was like, oh my God, how many ads can you fit into one video? You know what I mean? So, and not even on YouTube, it's like on the Spotify itself. And I was like, oh my God, like, you know.
It's like 80% ads and like 20% content now.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
But now having my own podcast, I'm like, oh, I don't really, like, I love getting the ads, right? Because I'm making money.
It's a 10-minute episode, 5 minutes are ads.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
No, but yeah, you don't feel that way? Like agendas, like they're pushing like topics. They're kind of forcing things down, you know, like.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because I used to listen to Pat David.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that. Joe Rogan, same thing.
Joe Rogan, same thing. Pat David started pushing his MLM companies. I mean, did he have some good content that I like to listen to? Yeah. But a lot of times he always went back to buy my shit. I'll teach you this, I'll teach you this. And I'm just like, dude, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to buy your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like listening to the conversations you're having with people. They're real, whatever. You are teaching me something. But you're right, I guess. That's why I only stick to a couple. Like right now, my favorite podcast, aside from Sisko and Mike, is
I was about to shout it helpful. I don't know.
Flagrant. Flagrant.
I got you on that. I got you on that one, huh?
Yeah. Flagrant with Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
Funny.
I love that.
And he talks about, dog, they were talking about statistics the other day, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
Those ones don't know anything about statistics, but
no, they were flowing. Right? They were throwing shit out there, and I was just like, oh, damn, this is dope. So it made me understand, like, okay, they're not just comedians. They're also fucking people, and they're smart, and they went to school, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's what it's about. It's just having open dialogue with the guests.
Yeah.
Someone you don't know, getting to know each other, you know, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
Hanging around. And
Sometimes there's like that shock factor though that people like will use, you know, and then yeah.
that's like him earlier today. No, you were like amazed I was asking these questions.
Oh, yeah.
He forgets that I could
like-
be smart too.
We're like 40-something episodes in, and I was like, where is this coming from? Keep letting it grow, baby. It's opening up your mind.
It's the guests. The guests bring it out.
The engineering STEM in you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She motivated me.
I love it. So yeah, hopefully by the time the next conference comes around, when I'm introducing myself to like those big people, I'll be like, and I'm a podcast host, you know?
Nice.
So yeah.
Use that as motivation.
Exactly.
That experience of not having
Because
that
it was
side.
so embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie, like being at that lunch and I was just like, oh my God, like, because they're all talking to them like, oh, we can promote your conference, or like we're gonna have a book party for you, and then they just like skip over me, and I was like, okay, like I have nothing to offer here, you know. So
But it's cool because you just started. You know what I'm saying? So don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Like you're working on it.
But
Start
and that's
somewhere.
the beauty of that group that I'm like a part of, because they're all, like I said, a little older than me, so it's like, okay, cool, when I'm 28 I can do that too, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's not a pressure you have on you. It's kind of just like you said, a
Yeah.
motivating factor. Like,
yeah.
all right, I can see them doing it. Like I can do it too.
Yeah, obviously, like every time you start something new, you're like, oh, damn, I wish I started this earlier. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, I've started now. We're just got to keep rolling with it, you know?
Yeah, because you know, obviously, when you have certain friend groups, sometimes that it's not motivation and it's not like a push. It's more like they put you down, you know, for not
Oh, yeah.
accomplishing the same things or doing the exact same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have like a group nickname?
Well, like,
I'm back to the dumb
sometimes-
questions now.
No. I mean, sometimes, like, when we went to see him on Ninja Warrior, he was like, the STEM squad is here. And I'm like, well, we've never called ourselves that, but that's cool.
Did you guys have signs and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Ninja Warrior is hard, fool. That shit looks hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I
huh?
want to throw up every time I look at it. I'm like, oh.
What do you
Like,
mean
seeing
throw
it
up?
in
Like,
person,
just because
I know what you
going
mean.
through because at
the,
one
like,
point,
adrenaline, it's like,
at
oh my
one point I used to be in
God.
shape, believe it or not. Okay, I was a Marine at one point, and I remember going through obstacle courses and doing
Yeah.
fucking martial arts training and doing grappling, and you get so exhausted, like you want to throw up sometimes. Sometimes on a
Yeah.
run, you've been running a 5-mile run, 7-mile run. And you're like, man, my body's giving out, and you just want to throw up, you're dehydrated. So just seeing them go through the obstacles is like, God damn, that
Yeah.
looks hard.
It
Like,
gives you flashbacks.
it flashbacks to like, damn, that shit's hard.
Because I was gonna say, just from watching you feel like throwing up, that's something else.
No, I mean, I did when watching Jake, because I was so nervous, though. And I was just like, oh, God. I can't even talk about how he did, but you'll find out in a year.
Yeah, you get-
Oh shit, so it hasn't come out?
No, like, on the taping, all the signs was American Ninja Warrior 2024. So,
shit.
and like they were like, you cannot film anything, you can't do anything. And I posted a vlog about it, and I was like, well, can't tell you guys how we did. We'll have to wait a year. And everyone was like, a year? Damn. So,
Damn, that's crazy.
Is there anything you can talk about? You can't talk about Ninja.
no,
You can talk about
I
work.
feel bad. I'm like, let me be on your podcast. I can't talk about shit.
Everything in her life is about not being able to talk
your
about.
Nikes drop? Nah.
I wish I knew. Honestly, like I see a lot of those accounts that like post all the sneaker news and stuff, and I'm like, oh, whoa, we're working on that, or like we're working with that brand. Like I'm so being in tech, you're so far out of the loop of all the designer stuff. So, but we have a few like friends who work in the studio and all that. So it's really cool to see like what they're doing and everything, and it's fun to visit. You know.
Do you only have to wear Nike?
I mean, it's not like a rule. You just, I don't know if it's in our contract, but like it's one of those obvious things where it's like, I just said obvious, and I'm going to say that later that I hate when people use that word, but it's one of those things where like you just don't wear a competitor brand, right? Like I would never show up in an Adidas tracksuit to Nike. I mean like, you know.
Well, of course not, but
Yeah.
but out and about, like.
Oh.
April Fools.
Yeah, actually, that would have been really good. But out and about, I mean, I think it's one of those things where like I've just accumulated so much Nike that it's just a part
Gotcha.
of my wardrobe now.
Okay.
Like, especially when I work with other brands for social media, like they send me all their stuff. At one point, I did not own a single piece that was not from Express because every month they would send me clothes. And people were like, oh my gosh, like you're really sponsored by them. And I'm like, well, at this point, I literally just don't own anything else. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I wouldn't.
And there's no need because
Yeah.
you're getting all this stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd ever go to a store and see a pair of Adidas and be like, I want those. Because I'm just so like Nike now, you know?
Okay. Hey, Van Davis,
What?
Dickies, I'll sponsor you.
What's Van Davis?
You don't know what Ben Davis is?
No.
See, he's
Oh.
not a Chicano.
Ben
Van Davis.
Davis.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I thought you said Van Davis.
Davis.
It sounded like
Yeah.
Van Davis. I was like,
There's a Chicano, the Chicano fucking slang coming out, dog.
Ben Davis, like Ben. What?
You know what I mean? You
No,
never even wore them, so.
No, I know, but I've heard of Ben Davis.
You heard of Frisco's?
The restaurant?
No, see, yeah, you don't know shit.
What?
Anyway, sponsor over here. I got you. I'm gonna start wearing my own shit.
Shout out to Express. I used to wear Express, but
I
then
know,
there's,
I didn't want to say nothing because
their sizes got small for me. You know what I'm saying?
no,
They
you just
started
got
making.
big, fool.
Nah, fool. They started making their large and their extra large like smaller and smaller.
You
And
just
it's
got
like,
big. You just
nah.
got big.
Yeah, true. That too. But still, anyways.
You ready for the?
No manchas?
Yeah. Did he tell you what no manches? Okay. I got my no manches.
You want me to start or you want to start it?
And it has to do with no. You started, but it has to do with the.
I had a little bit of two.
You know, don't political shit today, please.
No? Okay, fine.
This one always goes.
There's a
political.
lot of political shit going on.
Go
I don't know,
for it,
though.
go for it.
But that one, no, right? I was in Mexico City, right?
Uh-huh.
So I want to watch a Folclórico show. Mm-hmm. One of the best companies in Mexico was performing. The Bellas Artes, which is like the museum down in Mexico City. So there's this white couple. There's a lot of like foreigners, white people, things like that. So how does a white man go to a Folclórico show in Mexico City, clapping, cheering, yelling? Walking out, puts his hat on, and it's a MAGA hat.
No.
Tell me, like, you know what I mean? Like, how is that a thing?
Because the Mexicans are not in America. He went to Mexico.
Isn't it hypocritical though?
No, because he wants the Mexicans out of America.
Now, I'm not saying that he's
I
right.
mean,
Well,
not that I agree with it.
if
but
you're MAGA, doesn't make you automatic racist, right? I understand that, but it has that negative connotation to that, right?
Yeah.
It's tied to it to a certain extent. So how is it that you're gonna wear that in Mexico and cheering on and having a great time, and then walk out and put that back on? Like,
again, he went to a country. I mean, this is my thinking. He went to a country.
that they were being bashed. That was being bashed. Remember that?
I know. Maybe he doesn't agree with that, but I don't fucking know.
Maybe it flipped the switch. He takes it off. He's Mexican. He puts it on. He's like,
Yeah, there you go.
bashed.
I don't know. That's kind of that is a no manches.
Or he just did it just for the.
But nobody said anything.
No, but well, I mean,
You probably got looks, you know.
yeah. I
That
looked at
is
him. I
an
was like,
interesting choice. Like,
right? Like you could wear any hat. Like literally, LA hat, California hat, Portland hat, anything.
I don't think he's a MAGA
And
supporter.
no, it wasn't a wardrobe
It
thing.
would
It
have been
didn't match.
Tennessee or fucking South Carolina or
yeah.
somewhere Texas.
But even then, if you're like that southern, I don't know a lot of southern people going to Mexico City. And
That's a weird one, bro. You brought it in political and weird today.
that shit threw me off, fool. Like, cause I was like, damn, this was really like enjoying the show. You know, I'm used to seeing it.
Yeah.
This was really enjoying it, and then he walks. MAGA. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? Like, damn, that tripped me out. So, I was, yeah, like, no manches. Like, what the hell? Like, if you're MAGA, if you're Republican, if you're pro-Trump, that's fine. But, like, you know, you're going to Mexico. Don't bring your hat. Don't bring your hat.
Kiko got mad.
Yeah, I got mad, fool. No lie.
But you didn't say shit.
I didn't say shit. I didn't want to stir things up.
Stir the pot, yeah.
Mine's a little bit more calmer. It still gets me mad. It got my daughters mad. We went to round 1 a couple weeks ago, and they wanted. It has to do with mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Okay.
You talking about the claw?
I'm talking about the fucking clock.
I knew
I
it.
hate that shit.
I'm good at that shit, dog.
Bro. Okay. Whoever built that shit did it on purpose, I'm assuming, because that's the whole point, to get money.
Are you talking about the 2 one?
No, it's a 3.
Oh, you suck then. The 3 one's easy.
No.
Or is it the giant one?
The giant one.
Ah, those are okay.
And then fucking, so my daughter went, and on the first try, she got a monito, the fat ass little monito, like this big.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it lifted. I was like, okay, cool. The claw is not that one of those claws that just fucking
Drops
loosens up
it,
or whatever.
yeah.
We did it a second time because my other daughter wanted one. We picked it up, and as soon as it hits the top and it swings, das. Motherfucker. Put it again. I was like, we got this. Maybe I didn't center it right. Maybe it was too. I started thinking technical right. I'm like, maybe I picked it up on the left side too much, and it's too heavy on one side. So now we're gonna drop it dead center. I started doing math, fool. You know what I'm saying? Drop it again, picks it up, same thing. It gets to the top, boss. I'm fucking mad now, right? Because I'm wasting credits, like $5 every
you just
fucking
go
swipe.
buy it. Yeah.
Exactly, but I want to get it now.
Yeah.
Challenge of it.
I want to fucking get it, and I went another try, and it didn't happen. So I was like, man, fuck that.
This weekend for your birthday when we go for karaoke, I'm gonna take my laptop and we'll draw up SolidWorks, everything. We'll simulate, and we got it done.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
look
no
forward-
manches.
Love
What's
it.
up with that shit, Klaus?
They have some weird ass games now too, like at round 1. Like have you seen the other one with the anime things where you have to like kind of like adjust or something? Like they have some weird ass games.
Yeah.
Or like that claw that's just 2. Like it makes it nearly impossible to catch anything. You gotta stick to the traditional 3 claw, smaller ones.
Yeah, no, I don't play that shit anymore. I get fucking mad.
It's rigged. The computer science people
Yeah.
always figure
Is it for reals?
No.
Do you know?
I mean,
No.
you could make it rigged, probably, but
Man, that sucks.
pressure every so often. I don't know.
yeah. You never know.
That's
Automated
fucked up. No
coding.
manches on that shit, guys. Fix that shit.
Well, mine was like more academic, like from my academics. Like, I just hate when people use the word obvious or obviously when explaining things. So I'm like, it's not fucking obvious. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking you. So, like, to this day, like, sometimes I'm talking to family and stuff and like, they just use terms like that. And I'm just like, why? Like, or, I mean, it hasn't happened at work yet, thank God. But when people explain things like that, like, especially as like an engineer, it's like, things are not obvious, or like, don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean? So that was mine. It's not that.
No, you're
No,
good.
it's
That's good.
It's funny because it's more of a sarcastic thing now, obviously. You know,
Yeah.
like when you
Well,
say it.
It depends, I think, on how they use it, no?
Yeah, I've had professors that say it very like they mean it, like, well, obviously this equals that or something, and I'm like, okay, well, I got it wrong, so it's not that obvious. Yeah,
Like you basically, if you don't know it, you're stupid.
yeah.
Do you apply
yeah.
it to just academics or in life in general?
Well, life in general.
So, like, if you're stuck on the freeway and someone tells you, we're going to be late, you know, or you tell them, well, we're going to be late, and they go, like, obviously.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's still fucked up.
but yeah, I mean, it depends, I guess. Like, it depends on how you're saying it. Like, I know what you mean by like, oh, sarcastically, like, oh, obviously, or something, but yeah.
But you're talking more as in like they expect you to know something that
Yeah.
you obviously didn't know.
That
Yeah,
Right?
I just hate that
My
because
bad,
it
use
like
it.
it really like limits like how people can learn and stuff like that too, you know, because
Yeah.
like growing up and everything, like I really had to go from like a perfectionist mindset to a learning mindset, being like, I'm not going to know everything, and that's how you can learn is by like admitting that you don't know something. But when you like use that kind of terminology, it just like limits people so much, and I hate it, you know.
I totally understand. I work with people that are,
Yeah.
some engineers should not be engineers.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's
You gotta have those social-
obviously they should not be engineers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I had to say it there. Like, no, Yeah.
Who? No, I was kidding.
I can't say.
No,
but-
I want first and last name.
Yeah.
there's things I can't talk about either with work, all right?
All right.
There's certain companies I can't say.
Okay. Ready to move on to words of wisdom?
Yeah.
Words of
Yeah.
wisdom. This is where you get the whole spotlight.
Cool.
You get to tell us and everybody.
My favorite words of wisdom, I always tell everyone, my Theo actually told me it, is work hard, play hard, if not play harder. I feel like that applies a lot when you're a student. You know, you're always like so concerned about getting good grades and like passing a class and whatever. But my mom always told me, like, you have to remember that you're human first, right? Like, go to the movies with your friends during the week. Don't, be studying all day, every day. Like, don't cram and all that. And as a student, I feel like you really lose yourself in that sense. And it's just really like, oh my gosh, if I don't get these grades, like, life is over. But it's like retaking classes isn't the end of the world, And then now being in industry, it's like, you go to work 9 to 5 and then your day's pretty much over and you have to go do it all again the next day. So I feel like with content creation and just like other activities with friends, it's like I'm always posting my social life on social media because I'm always trying to promote like you can work really hard, but you can have so much fun on the side. And there's nothing wrong with that, So I feel like that's my biggest piece of advice for anyone is like work hard, but play hard and always just like go for your goals. And even though I work at Nike, I always love to say like, just do it because if you have an idea of something, kind of like we were talking about earlier, like anytime you start something, you're like, oh, I wish I did it sooner. So whenever you get that like feeling or that inspiration, just go with it, follow your dreams and who knows what might happen,
Yeah.
So those are my words of wisdom.
She's over here pushing Nike.
I know, right?
Shout out Nike.
Hey, we want to get sponsorships too.
Oh, that's funny. No, but you're right. Like we've talked about that. Like especially us having certain pressures. I feel now it's a lot different. Like before it was just work. Like the generation now, the mentality's changed, and we have to prioritize ourselves first.
Yeah. No, and that reminded me of something. When I was in the military, they used to always tell us, because in the military, there was no set times. Mm-hmm. So there was days when you worked 12, 14-hour days. Yeah. There was days when you got off at noon. But it was always the same mentality. Work hard, play hard. Yeah. The Marines know how to work hard and play hard. So yeah. I resonate with that. So
yeah. I love it.
Tell us where anybody can find you, all our viewers or anybody that wants to reach out.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Sonia Camacho on Instagram and TikTok, and then my podcast is called Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. You can email me at cuéntame.sonia if you want to outreach or anything else. I have a website that's linked on my social media that has like anything that you need to know about me. So, yeah. Thank you guys for having
Where can they find your podcast? On Spotify and Apple?
Spotify, Apple Music, and I think maybe like Amazon Music. I don't know if anyone uses that, but and YouTube. But it's just
I use Amazon Music.
Shut up. No,
Well, for podcasts?
Yeah,
really?
Sometimes. Amazon Music, I got a subscription to it. It's easy to look up music.
Bro, no, we put music up on this.
I do. Spotify, I don't.
Wait, you do music now? You put up your music?
No, I don't put up music. I download music. Like, I listen to music on it. There's playlists.
Do you have ads?
No, I pay for it. I pay for the subscription.
I canceled my Amazon Music thing.
Oh. So you used it, though. Why are you making fun of me?
I used to use it, but I pay a lot for like Amazon Prime and the whole business.
Well, no shit.
The whole business thing part, And they wanted to still charge me for that. Like, get the hell out of here. Nah.
There's so many subscriptions nowadays to everything.
Yeah.
So what do you use?
So make sure you guys subscribe to both our podcasts.
Yeah. Both of us.
Anyways, we want to say thank you for coming on. I know it's last minute. I know you're out here on vacation, so we appreciate you taking the time to show us some love. And we wish you well and good luck at Nike and any other ventures that you set out to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he said it best. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you being here. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing STEM, and spreading the word.
Yeah.
It's a great thing you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank you.
Alrighty,
everybody.
thanks.
Peace out.